it's like being on the good old days on Rhema. I'm joined by the wonderful Reverend Frank Ritchie, a bit of a throwback to our time together, not only here on Rhema, but of course on Life FM many years ago. But it's great to be with you at this time of day. Welcome.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's nice to have a chat with you, Di.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about something that we've kind of delved into many different times over the years, and that is this whole subject of Lent, but in particular today focusing in on Ash Wednesday, which was yesterday. Where do we go from here? Ash Wednesday, did you go to a service? Did you do something like that to kick off the season of Lent?
I did, and usually I like the idea of attending an Ash Wednesday morning service to kind of start Lent first thing on Wednesday morning. But I didn't get to do that. But I helped lead an Ash Wednesday service last night with the classic kind of ash cross on the forehead, and it was a good service to participate in. And I know that we're a day after, but I still think yesterday is a good chance to reflect before we hit the first Sunday of Lent this Sunday, because I think there's something wonderfully countercultural about Ash Wednesday, a day where like the chief line in the service, when you get the ash marked on your forehead, usually made from the palms of Palm Sunday the year before that have been dried out and burned and then mixed with a bit of oil. But the chief line is, in some form or other, remember, O mortal, that you are dust, and to dust you shall return. And I think that's magnificent. There's some people who might hear that as morbid, but I really like it. I think it's a very freeing line in the current culture that we find ourselves in.
And I think what it does too is it connects us to the generations before us who perhaps are now dust, and it does remind us of our own mortality as we think of the history and the span of time.
Yeah. And in a culture that I think doesn't necessarily grapple with the idea of our death very well because it's lost a sense of eternity. I think in a culture that therefore wants to put death aside, never talk about it, never reflect on it, wants to pursue beauty and eternal youth at almost any cost. There's massive industries built around those things. To be reminded that we're going to pass away, we're going to die, I think is a wonderful antidote to that. And again, it can sound morbid, but I think it's really freeing to be reminded that when we're going to pass away one day, the world is going to keep on turning and God is going to keep on being God. So I've reflected this season how that kind of connects to Sabbath and the idea of Sabbath rest. So we rest because we need to rest, but we also rest as an act of worship to put God in God's place and to recognize where we sit in the whole thing. That again, it's okay to rest because the world will keep on turning. So there's an idea where reflecting on our mortality is a call to rest. That it's okay if you don't do all the things. And you're not just an economic unit, a cog in this kind of thing, this machine that keeps on turning. We are fallible, we are vulnerable, we are frail, we are mortal, so it's okay to slow down.
I love this concept because I think that, in this age, and perhaps it's always been like this, but there is this idea of the to-do list. And to be fair, it's never ending, right? And to actually go, it's okay to step back and perhaps maybe start that rhythm now as we head into Easter, as we're in this period of Lent. I mean, what a great way to make rest a part of our worship to God and be okay with it. I think it is very hard. But I'm just going to put it out there. Someone's probably going in the background, and look, I possibly would too. Hang on, Frank. There is no time for this so-called Sabbath. I have got all of these things to do. My work is relentless. I don't know how to get this rest into my life. I'd love to be able to spend this time focusing in on God and Jesus and the death and the resurrection, but I just simply don't have the time and capacity to do so. So how would you suggest for someone like that who perhaps genuinely has just got so much on that they actually find the time to stop, rest and contemplate?
Yeah, first I'd probably offer a critique of our culture, not that person, but a critique of our culture that has caused that situation, because it's a very inhumane situation to be in, but it's
Yeah.
relatable for so many people. There are three big practices during Lent: prayer, fasting, and charity. One of the ways that I like to talk about each of those is thinking about something that we can pick up, so prayer, thinking about something we can put down, that's the fasting element, and thinking about something that we can give out, that's the charity element. And often when we hear words like prayer, fasting, and charity, we think big, we think heroic, we think saintly, like I've got to do all the things. But
Mm.
they can be really minuscule and really little. It's just about a next step. What's something that I could pick up? That doesn't take too much if I've got a busy life, but what's something that I can pick up? And our life, if our life is too busy, taking the time to consciously look at it and going, okay, where is something that I can put down in my life? And what's something that I can give out? Again, if life feels really overwhelming, those things only have to be little and tiny for them to be meaningful. They don't have to be the big heroic saintly thing. But this is a chance, and because it's Lent, there is an end point to it. The end point is Easter. So you're not
Mm.
having to commit to this thing forever. You just have to hold on to it for the period of Lent. And chances are you're going to fail. And then that failure is a reminder that we need God. So it's okay to commit to something and then to fail at it. It's not a bad thing to fail at it.
Hey, let's talk Lent then. And we don't have a lot of time, but I'm curious because you and I, over the years, Frank, we have done many different, Lenten journeys. And I said yesterday, one of the things that I really, really disliked, or one of the Lents that I found the most difficult, was the time I gave up coffee. And I don't think I'll ever do that one again because I was a miserable person for 6 weeks. But what are you doing for Lent this year? What does it look like for you?
That's a really good question. And again, for me, it's not anything really big. Like when I
Mm.
think through putting something down, picking something up, giving something out, and the period that I've been in, shifting house, there's a whole bunch of really good habits that have kind
Yeah.
of gone out the window because there's been so much work to do with the house that we've purchased. So part of it is just renewing some stuff. So going back to having a day a week where I fast from breakfast and lunch, picking up some of my prayer rhythms that have kind
Mm-hmm.
of gone by the wayside a little bit, and then looking at what sort of charitable stuff I can give to. And again, for me, it's like, okay, I only need to commit to this for the Lent period, and then we'll see where it goes after that. But for me, it's as simple as picking stuff up and putting stuff down that was in place previously that have kind of gone off the rails a little bit. It's a reset.
I'm giving up chocolate. There we go.
Well done.
Thank you so much. Hey, it is always so great to chat, and what a good thing to be talking about as we head towards Easter. And I think there is something so crucial about stopping, being still, and yet even for those of us who just feel really busy, just finding moments to be able to do that. Thanks again for being a part of the show.
Thanks, Di.
Thanks for joining us on Rhema. Now, if you found value in today's content, hit that like button. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel with the subscribe button. This really helps us to continue to produce more quality content for you. And hey, if you'd like to stay updated and never miss any of our future videos, ring that notification bell as well. Don't forget to follow us on our other socials, which are in the description below. And until then, stay tuned.